Ladies and gentlemen, you can use this video to prove there was never any evidence, nor did it happen. There was never any evidence of spy balloons during Trump's tenure in office. And it never happened. So I'm not even really taking a leap of logic there, but there's no evidence. It's theoretically possible that it could have happened, yet nobody covered it. So there's not only endless coverage of a spy balloon during Biden's administration going all over the United States of America, starting from the Aleutian Islands, going through Alaska, through Montana, all throughout the U.S. till it gets to South Carolina. And there's also evidence right here, and I'll show you in a second, of F-22s going after a spy balloon above Hawaii in 2022. Okay, there have been two balloons, not one, two, and I explained that today. Nobody's really that interested in the second balloon, but I explained that today earlier in my first video. Okay, here from CNN, New York Times, they keep saying that it is said. People have stated, senior officials say. There's not one shred of evidence, not even one article about a spy balloon from China during Trump's administration. Media obsessed over every single thing, sensationalized in the most apoplectic manner, everything that took place under Trump. But here, CNN Politics, spy balloons under Trump not discovered until after Biden took office. Gee, how convenient. What is taking place is that they're embarrassed. Biden completely botched this the way he did the invasion in Europe and the Doha Agreement, and every single thing he touches, it's like the opposite of the Midas touch, turns to you-know-what. But here you can look, senior officials say, a senior administration official told CNN the official did not say how or when these incidents were discovered. That's because the official is almost certainly lying, and there's almost certainly no official there. Okay, so where are the articles written in the Washington Post or the New York Times or CNN documenting this? They can't find one. That's why they have to say senior officials say it happened under Trump, just like it happened under Biden. It's the Clintonian moral relativism. Everything's morally relative. It happened under Trump also. No, it didn't, or at least there's no evidence. And so usually you base your allegations or accusations or statements upon evidence. You need evidence, or at least you need some public record reporting from reputable sources. Okay, here you have an article. The Drive, right here, F-22 scrambled to investigate a mysterious high-altitude balloon off the coast of Hawaii. February 18th, 2022. This second balloon under Biden's administration. And then they say, well, Trump was compromised because of his business ties to China. It's like, no. Trump was not Hunter or Joe. Hunter and Joe were making money while Biden was vice president. A lot of money. Democrats, in terms of fundraising, derive a great deal of money. Universities have been getting hundreds of millions of dollars from that country. And so you had $1 billion+ deal that Hunter was engaged in, and that's why they suspended the New York Post. But here you have the balloon starting in Alaska off the Aleutian Islands before it even got to the continental, the contiguous United States of America. So you have a situation where even before it got over Alaska, it's in the Aleutian Islands, or else above, I should say, and nothing was done. Hit subscribe to this channel every day, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. videos will be in the morning. Share your mornings with H.A. Goodman on YouTube. Here you go. The surveillance balloon traveled across Alaska, but questions about its exact path remain unanswered. It should have been destroyed before it even got above Alaska. Okay? It shouldn't have been destroyed when it was above the Aleutian Islands. Okay? And so you have a situation where, of course, media will tell you things that, because it's so embarrassing, because it is so utterly embarrassing to Biden's administration, everything has to be morally relative. And Trump has to be just as guilty as Biden on everything, even though he's not. Even, what's his name, Bolton, who should never have been one of Trump's top advisors, stated, no, that's not true. Okay, so there were no spy balloons in Trump's tenure. There's no evidence of that other than people say. Well, you don't have to have people say. You have evidence here in the form of a 2022 article, numerous articles about the same spy balloon above Hawaii. So this has taken place at least twice under Biden's administration. It's been a complete catastrophe. And you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where, really quickly, hit subscribe every day, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. videos for sure on this channel, but also to my super thanks. Thank you. I will have a live stream tomorrow, definitely right after the State of the Union, which should be interesting. We're heading into another recession this year. We had a recession in 2022. We have inflation still at all-time highs. If it's not 8%, it's still 6% is way too high, and that's directly because of Biden's policies. He flooded 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves into the country. Not good for the environment, apparently. They don't care about that, but they love to pontificate. And I say this with love. If you are Democrat, Republican, anybody watching, thank you and God bless you, and have a beautiful and safe and healthy and happy 2023. I come with a distinct viewpoint. I'm voting for Trump because I don't want these things to take place. This was a national security disaster. They took surveillance footage, the geothermal imaging. They could have tracked individual cars and people, because that's what these tactical military balloons can do. The reason they did that is because they could derive more information than a traditional satellite. That's why they did that. They also knew that Biden wouldn't have done anything, unlike Trump, who would have at least maybe raised tariffs. He would have done something in terms of an economic retaliation, or he would have done something in terms of diplomacy. He wouldn't have done. See, Trump is the anti-war candidate. There wouldn't have been an invasion in Europe, and we wouldn't have this escalation with China. Okay, this probably has to do with a possible invasion of Taiwan. And so you have a situation where they're testing, it's not so much resolve, but they're testing and they're deriving information from above right before our very eyes, and Biden did nothing about it, literally nothing. Trump would have definitely either taken it out before it even got into Alaska, or above Alaska, I should say. And it didn't happen under Trump. Just like the invasion in Europe didn't happen under Trump. Just like a recession didn't happen under Trump. You could say his last year in office, but that was Democrats tanking the economy. That was a self-induced wound. But it did not happen. The CNN article, the New York Times article, the fact that it's discovered when Biden took office means that they're conjuring up and fabricating yet again another excuse. Of course, the headline says they found out when Biden was in office. Of course they did. Well, of course they didn't find out when Trump was in office. Guess what? Because it didn't happen. Hit subscribe to this channel. Go to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Subscribe there. Become a Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. To my new Patreons, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support my work, the super thanks, the Patreons below, and go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, and other publications. And so they're lying. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene and others want a congressional investigation into why nobody told Trump. And then the stupid rebuttal is, oh, well, they didn't trust him. It's not a matter of If you're the commander in chief in the military or in even a corporate organization, if you do not, unless it's like some kind of moral reason, which there is no moral reason not to tell Trump anything. And if you think there is, then the same could be applied to Biden and every president you don't like. But if as commander in chief, he has subordinates that didn't tell him information, just like a couple of times they didn't tell him certain things about the Middle East, that is a crime. Actually, it's a criminal act not to inform the commander in chief of what he needs to know. So you're talking about people who potentially committed. The worst case scenario is that people committed crimes. The probable best case, or the reality, is that they're lying. This administration or CNN and others are reporting just pure lies. That it never happened under Trump, but they're so utterly embarrassed that it happened under their watch. They need to make everything this Clintonian moral relativism world where, well, it happened under Trump. Like, no. Actually, yet again, this happened under Biden, just like the invasion in Europe happened under Biden, just like 6 to 8% plus inflation happened under Biden, just like his policies led to a recession. And we had record low poverty under Trump. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. You can share this with anyone who thinks that it happened under Trump. It did not. There's zero evidence. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.